Have you ever felt lost in a place where you don't understand a single word? Have you ever wanted to speak but felt trapped in silence? This is the story of Alex, a young immigrant who faced one of the biggest challenges of his life learning English. His journey was full of failures, self-doubt, and frustration, but in the end, he proved that with determination, anything is possible. If you've ever struggled with learning English, this story is for you. Alex had always dreamed of a better future. When his family moved to the USA, he was excited but also nervous. He had heard stories of success, people building new lives, achieving their dreams, but he didn't realize how difficult it would be. The moment he landed, everything felt different. The streets were wider, the people looked different, and most importantly, the language sounded like a blur. He could barely understand anything. At the store, the first time he went to buy groceries with his mother, he couldn't even ask for the right items. The cashier spoke so fast that he had no idea what she was saying. He just nodded, pretending to understand. At school, his first day at school was even worse. He sat in class, unable to understand his teacher. Every time he was called on, he froze. His classmates whispered and giggled. Loneliness. He wanted to make friends, but he didn't know how. He was afraid of saying something wrong. He spent most of his days alone, sitting in the corner of the cafeteria, pretending to be busy. One day, during an English class, the teacher asked him to read a paragraph. He stood up, his hands shaking, and tried to read, but the words felt impossible. He mispronounced everything. The class erupted into laughter. That night, Alex sat in his room, staring at his books. He felt like a failure, he thought. Maybe I'm just not smart enough. Maybe I'll never learn this language. But then, something changed. He thought about why his family had moved. His parents had given up everything to build a better future. Was he really going to give up so easily? The next morning, Alex made a promise to himself. I will learn English no matter how hard it is. I will not give up. But how? He had no idea where to start. He realized that he couldn't learn overnight, but he could take small steps every day. Learn 5 words a day. He started with a small notebook, writing down 5 new English words daily and practicing them every night. Watch and listen. He began watching English movies with subtitles. At first, it was frustrating, but over time he started recognizing words. Speak, even if it's wrong. He forced himself to speak English, even if he made mistakes. He practiced in front of a mirror and spoke to anyone who would listen. Read aloud. Every night, he read a page from a book, struggling with pronunciation but never stopping. At first, it was incredibly difficult. Some days he wanted to quit, but he reminded himself, every mistake is a step forward. Months passed, and Alex started to notice small changes. In class, he understood more of what the teacher was saying. He even started answering simple questions. With friends, a classmate noticed his efforts and started helping him. They would practice speaking together. Slowly, Alex built confidence. At the store, he managed to order food without getting confused. The cashier smiled and understood him. It was a small victory, but it meant everything. Just when he thought he was improving, he faced a new challenge: public speaking. His teacher announced that every student had to give a short presentation. Alex panicked. The night before his presentation, he practiced for hours. He recorded himself and listened back. It wasn't perfect, but he kept going. The next day, he stood in front of the class. His hands trembled, but he took a deep breath and spoke. He made mistakes, but this time, no one laughed. His classmates clapped. He had done it. For the first time, he felt proud. Years passed, and Alex's English improved dramatically. He no longer feared speaking. He could express himself confidently. He worked hard, graduated, and even gave a speech at his graduation ceremony. He landed a job in a company where he used English every day. One day, Alex found himself helping another student who was struggling with English, just like he had. He smiled and said, I know it's hard, but trust me, it gets better. Just don't give up. Alex never forgot where he started. He knew how it felt to struggle, to feel hopeless. But he also knew that hard work and persistence could change everything. He started a YouTube channel, sharing his journey and tips for learning English. His goal was to inspire others, to help people believe in themselves. One day, he received a message from a viewer. Alex, your story changed my life. I was about to give up, but after watching your videos, I kept going. Now, I speak English fluently. Thank you. Tears filled Alex's eyes. His journey had come full circle. If you're struggling to learn English, remember this: every mistake is a lesson. Every struggle is part of your success story. Don't be afraid. Keep going. One day, you'll look back and see how far you've come. Did this story inspire you? Share your English learning journey in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe for more.